Your top story this morning, President Jacob Zuma will today argue in court why the remedial action in the Public Protector's State of Capture report should be reviewed. The High Court in Pretoria will hear the matter that has been set down for 3 days. This comes almost a year after the then Public Protector, Thuli Madonsela's State of Capture report was published. One of the follow-up actions Madonsela proposed was the establishment of a Judicial Commission of Inquiry. But President Jacob Zuma took the remedial action on a review. He argues that he has the constitutional authority to appoint a judicial commission and cannot be directed by another to do so. The DA, EFF, COPE, UDMA, the Council for Advancement of the South African Constitution, and Fyke Mentor are also respondents in the case.
The remedial action, yes, they are binding nature. We know based on the Concord decision regarding Nkandla, they are binding. But there are other elements. If the decision to say establish a judicial commission of inquiry, it's binding. Yes, you must establish that to investigate further. But then you cannot say establish the commission illegally or by not following procedures. You don't break one law in order to implement a corrective measure. You implement a corrective measure by following legal and judicial processes. And that's what the president is challenging in court.
So effectively, here's what the president is challenging, that the PP directs the president to appoint a judicial commission of inquiry, that the judge for the inquiry into state of capture be appointed by the Chief Justice, that the commission should have powers to collect evidence that match the powers of the public protector, that the commission's report be presented within 180 days, that judges should not preside over commissions of inquiry.
Jacob Zuma is not serious about implementing a judicial commission of inquiry. Our stance has always stood that because the president is in court opposing the action, does not mean the remedial actions don't stand. And he's been constantly delaying a judicial commission of inquiry. Look, our view is that Chief Justice Mogoeng must in fact ensure that that commission of inquiry proceeds, and we must ensure that we get to the bottom of state capture.
Well, here's what the court needs to decide. Can the public protector's remedial action override the Constitution? Also, does the remedial action make the flawed assumption that a judicial inquiry favors the person appointing it? Lastly, does the remedial action assume that judges are not impartial and by extension judicial probes lack credibility?
There's a constitutional position of the country that the President of the Republic is the only person who can give directives and or appoint the commissions and even the people who are presiding over those commissions. Now, this is a constitutional position. In cases like the way the DA and many detractors of Jacob Zuma are arguing to say, but he is implicated in the matter or he's been mentioned in the matter, and therefore he is not in a position to can appoint a judicial commission or a presiding officer on that matter. They are actually not questioning the president. They are questioning the Constitution. They are also questioning the independence of the judiciary.